Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Welcome to the show. It's a brand new week, brand new month even. September is here, which is crazy.
I know.
Fall is right around the corner. It may not feel like it.
Allegedly.
But it is technically around the corner.
Meteorological fall, maybe.
Meteorological fall did begin September 1.
Yes. It's not real.
The American fall began last week when Starbucks released its pumpkin spice menu.
Yes.
And then real fall, I think, is later in September. I don't remember the exact date.
There's 3 falls. There's pumpkin spice fall, there's football fall, and then there's real fall.
Oh, football fall.
And then there's weather. Then there's weather fall. So there's 4 falls.
And that can happen at any time, and it can end at any time.
Yes.
And then it
usually
can
in
come back.
Oklahoma, it's like a week and a half of fall, and then winter. And not like fun winter, like ice.
Yes, it's always
Painful
not fun
ice.
winter. So anyway, welcome to September. Welcome to So Many Sequels. We're doing a brand new theme on the show this month. Brand new theme for us as a show, too. We're doing Sports September
Sports ball.
this month. So we're doing sports movies all month long. We've got A League of Their Own on bat. Well, actually, I guess it would be on they're batting
On
this
deck.
week, right? And then
They're, well, I mean, if you're listening to this, it's on deck. Yeah, they're on deck.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Get the terms correct. But that's coming up next, anyways, A League of Their Own. Then we've got White Men Can't Jump coming up and Cool Runnings. We announced those last week, so we're excited about that. We're going to have a fan pick, too. So you got to follow us on social media. Go check out So Many Sequels Pod on Instagram and Threads and TikTok, Facebook, too. We're on all those, and we're going to be throughout the month sharing some picks that you guys have shared with us. Sports movies, we're going to have you vote on them. We're going to pick the best, or we're going to pick the top winner at the end of the month, and that will be our final recording. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. We've got a lot of great stuff planned, and I think it's going to be it usually is. The last half of the year is usually like the most fun part.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. We've gotten through the summer blockbuster season. We've gotten through that. There's a little bit of a slow period at the end of summer. And then holiday movies start popping up. So, yeah, it is. It gets exciting. Plus, we got our themes, and we'll talk about those later. But let's talk about what we've been watching lately. I went to a couple movies this past week. One new, one old. First of all, I went to the AMC was doing a Dolby re-release of The Batman, which is part of the celebration of Batman's 85th anniversary. That was very fun. I hadn't seen The Batman since it was out in theaters the first time, I think. I don't think I watched it on streaming, because didn't we review it when it came out in theaters?
Yeah, we reviewed it back in 2022.
Yeah, so go check that out if you want to know our overall thoughts on it. But I will just say that I really like it, and I think I said I liked it back then, but I for sure really still enjoyed it a couple years later. It's so fun on that Dolby screen. It's just so fun is such a weird word because the movie's so dark and gritty, but not in the Dark Knight way. It's like a different dark and gritty. But it's just fun to see Batman be a real detective in the movies. You don't get that story a lot in film. So I enjoyed seeing the Batman again. They were selling cool popcorn buckets and cups. I got one of each, had to do it. So I got the Batman Bat Signal popcorn bucket. You guys, you gotta check that out.
Do you got it around there somewhere?
You know what? I do have it in reach. Batman popcorn bucket.
Hey, there it is. That's
There
the
it is in
thumbnail
all its
right
glory
there,
for
too.
the YouTube audience.
Wow.
You can see the thing pops up there. Put the popcorn in.
bucket.
Have you eaten popcorn out of it
You
yet?
turn the light on, it gets bright. No, I have not eaten popcorn out of it yet. I should do that. I should pick a Batman movie and do that.
Oh, Batman
Definitely.
Forever. That's the best popcorn Batman movie.
Ooh, good call. I haven't seen that in many years either.
Forever.
Batman Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went and saw a special screening at our friends at Circle Cinema here in Tulsa, the city's only independent movie theater. Went there and saw a screening of a documentary called Majority Rules that is about ranked choice voting and kind of how that has impacted races in certain states where they have implemented that. Specifically Alaska, where in 2022 they were the first state to do statewide elections with a ranked choice voting system. one of the more interesting things you learn about the movie, or that I learned, was that, a lot of people think that however they vote in their state is just how everyone votes. And that's not true at all. A lot of states have various different ways of voting, and it doesn't mean that one is like nefarious or one shouldn't be trusted just because it's different than how your state votes. So it was really cool to get this like pretty inside look at how different states go to the polls and vote. And they had the director in audience, so there was a brief Q&A afterward. People were kind of asking, hey, how can I learn more about ranked choice voting? How can I learn more about, are there any efforts to do that here in Oklahoma? How could I find out more about that? So it was really nice, and that's the kind of thing you just don't get at the chain theaters,
I've done some research into ranked choice voting myself, and so that'd be a pretty cool one to watch.
Yeah, if you're into politics at all, or if you're into civic engagement, if that sounds interesting to you at all, I would recommend it because it's pretty approachable. Like it's narrated in a way where he explains it very simplistically. I feel like where it's not too hard to understand. There's a lot of visuals because some states do it in really complex ways where you're like, why is it that complicated? And some states do it in really easy ways, and there's just no reason. It's just whatever they decided on the day they decided that.
Did ranked choice voting win you over?
I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the concept, and like I said, a lot of states do have it implemented, but at various levels. So while having statewide elections be fully ranked choice voting in Alaska may be good for Alaska, doesn't mean that type of system is right for Oklahoma per se. Just for example, there's a lot of people who argue that in Oklahoma maybe we should just have fully open primaries and then lead to a general election, but not necessarily do ranked choice after that, but just kind of, and that is a thing in many states where they have open primaries for all parties, independent, and you're all just on one ballot, and the top two go on to the general, no matter, whether that's two Republicans, two Democrats, or, the Whig Party comes back. I don't know. It could be anybody, and then you go on. So there's a lot of ways to approach it. So I think the idea definitely won me over.
Should we look into that for our Sports September audience pick? Should we do ranked choice voting?
We'll have to get on that and see if we can find an online voting system that'll do that, because I don't think Instagram polls will.
I don't think it will. Instagram polls are very traditional polling system.
Yeah, right. I don't think they'll allow it. So that was fun, and it was a good crowd there. Very interactive crowd. They seemed into it. So yay, democracy and independent film and being engaged in your community. All good things.
Yes. Well, for me, I caught up on a 2024 movie that I hadn't seen yet. I watched Monkey Man on Peacock. And I gotta say, I thought I was gonna like it more than I did. It was very cool. There was some really interesting, like, stylistic choices they did. Was sort of how they filmed some sequences. Like, there's a little bit of there's a sequence where Dev is running down a stairwell and it like shifts in and out of first person perspective that I thought was kind of neat. But I don't know. I kind of had a hard time focusing, and maybe that was because of the home atmosphere. So I don't know if I gave it a totally fair shake or not. But it's right now it's in the top 10 movies of the year for me so far, so I'll say that. Dev Patel, I think he's got a lot of he has a lot of good instincts as a director, so I'm interested to see if he does more work or if he has like his follow-up to this. Yeah. I think you guys both saw Monkey Man earlier this year, I think.
Yeah, and I walked away very similar, where I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and I agree that it really showcased what Dev can do as a director, and I thought that was like, oh my goodness, I'm really excited for what he can do more. I also struggled to follow it in bits and pieces, and I think I think overall, I, again, really enjoyed the action of it, but the story itself wasn't necessarily the thing that hit the home run for me. Everything else I found very solid.
And maybe a second or third follow-up watch would help me out a lot there, or maybe doing some research about. I think because there's definitely a political subplot about it, so maybe following along with what they're reading up on what that is would help some too. But overall, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed myself for the most part.
I was pretty similar. I felt like it was not quite what I thought I was going to get out of it, but I still really enjoyed it. And I agree with you, David, that I think Dev Patel made some interesting directing choices. But I can tell, like, I feel like, yeah, this was your debut as a director, because I do kind of wonder if it would have been told better in a different director's hands. Just because I've seen Dev Patel really excel as an actor, and I didn't really feel like he was even representing himself super well in the film, if that makes sense. I was like, I think someone else could do it better, but I want Dev Patel to star in it still.
Maybe. I did really appreciate that at some point in the movie, they actually said the name. You like the movie John Wick? Like, they said that, and I was like, that's funny. Now I can't call it a John Wick movie because they referenced John Wick in the movie.
John Wick exists in the Monkey Man universe.
Yeah, he's like, you like John Wick? Just this gun is just like in the movie, you know? And I was like, oh man, well, shoot. They're aware of it.
Yeah. John Wick is getting referenced now. Well, coming up here, coming to a summer near you very soon. We've got the 7th Jurassic Park / World movie has been announced.
Yeah.
This was some big news that dropped earlier. No one was really like, oh no, there will not be another Jurassic Park movie, but we weren't sure how soon one would come around, and it appears sooner than maybe expected.
Yeah, they're getting on it.
Jurassic World Rebirth is supposed to come out summer 25, isn't it?
July of 2025. Yeah.
July of 2025.
It's going to be a hell of a July.
This time led by Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali. And directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed The Creator recently, and then before that, Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, so very interesting director.
Interesting combination.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got any? How you feeling about this? We obviously the elephant in the room is another one.
What I said was, I could be more than happy if they just let this franchise sit for 10, 20 years. Like, I think that, like, obviously it's based on a book, so, like, another adaptation is probably destined at some point. But, like, the Jurassic World franchise, the last 3 was okay. Like, it had a high point and it had a low point. And I just kind of felt like, just let this lie. Just let it lie for a while. However, Gareth Edwards is a very interesting director. I did really like Rogue One. I thought The Creator was interesting, but it wasn't my favorite movie of the last year. I like Mahershala Ali a lot, I like to make fun of Scarlett Johansson for various reasons as much as anybody, but also she's very good. So I don't know. I'm more optimistic than I would be if it was a different creative team. What about you guys?
It's funny you mentioned that the last 3 were okay and that it had a high point and a low point. The problem is the high point was the first one and the low point was the most recent one that came out.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, and it was a steep fall. I mean,
for us. For you and me, Josh liked it more than we did.
It was.
I don't want to return to it though. Let me be clear about that.
Yeah. And so my question, I don't know anything. I haven't looked up much other than I saw that it was announced. Is it connected to that one? Is this a requel again? Or
all they've really told us.
How are we here?
All they've really told us is this is set like somewhere like 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion.
Following the events of Jurassic World Dominion, when the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The 3 most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. That's the plot synopsis.
I wonder what they are.
I don't know. They lost me so hard in the way that those last 2 turned for the franchise. I mean, it was so. I hated it. To be frank with you, I hated the direction that they went in, and I really, really fault them for it. And it has tainted most of my feelings for this. So while I do like most of those people, I just fear that I'm going to be like, oh, look at this, and then it's going to be an absolute pile of dino crap again, because that's what they keep handing me. They keep saying it's going to be good, and then it's just fossilized crap, and I don't want to feel that anymore for a franchise I love.
What about you, Josh? What do you think?
You know, I want it to be different from. I'm kind of like, you know what? No, if you're gonna do it again, don't call it Jurassic World. You need another Jurassic something. You had Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and if this is gonna be different, make it Jurassic blank something new.
Jurassic flags
Planet.
over Texas.
Jurassic Planet.
Jurassic Planet.
Almost kind of works. I wouldn't hate that. I don't know, but I'm already kind of on the idea from what we just read in that synopsis, like the dinosaurs have something in them that will help with the life-saving cure to some kind of major disease.
Sounds dumb.
That on one hand feels like, okay, well then go get it.
Well, that's what they're doing.
Right, but then
That's
I'm
what
like,
they're off to go do.
isn't that what they were always doing?
Not
to
really.
some
Now,
extent?
What I
it's
want,
sort of a blending of like the Planet of the Apes and like Deep Blue Sea at this point now.
listen, I want a world where let's say it's continued. The whole planet has been taken over, right? Dinosaurs and people are running the world. Now I want to see how these people are living with the dinosaurs. Like, how are you surviving? That's the story I want. And I'm not going to get that. I'm going to get some drug run, and it's going to be dumb.
Because now apparently most of the dinosaurs, they didn't make it, you know? Which makes sense. But
Because
at the
they
same time,
didn't
we
make
never
it the
got to
first time.
enjoy... We never really got to revel in a world sort of cohabitated with dinosaurs to the level that we could have.
And
which
that's
is what I
what
think
people want.
thought
So you're not
Dominion
going to
was gonna
give
be.
us that,
No,
and
they
people
never
are going to
give
be
us that.
upset.
Can I just
So-
say, I would love to see a trilogy that is literally Jurassic Park. Why does it have to leave the park immediately?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't do 3 full stories that take place inside Jurassic Park without making the dinosaurs escape every time.
Now, I will say, check out Netflix's Camp Cretaceous, and there's another Netflix Jurassic World show that kind of highlights on those ideas. But those are kind of aimed towards kids, not like preschool kids, but like tweens.
Much
I will
better.
say, I think at the core of the issue is that they have never really known exactly who the Jurassic Park audience is. They
Come
want it
talk
to, be
to
for
me.
kids.
I'm right here. I got a movie review show. I love it, despite the fact that every movie except the first one of each franchise has been bad.
Yeah, the first one really, I think, is the closest to finding what that audience should be, because it's a little bit of kids and it's a little bit of adults, because the first one is kind of has horror movie elements, but it's not like so scary that, like, you know, a child couldn't watch it. Like, they want to have the spectacle and the wonder of the dinosaurs, but also the terror and the implications of what dinosaurs in modern day would be. You know, it's like a combination of a Frankenstein story, but also, I don't know, a Journey to the Center of the Earth style story of like, wow, this magical land now where dinosaurs exist. And that's just, it's really hard. What I haven't seen yet, because if you look at the first Jurassic World, you look at Jurassic Park, you look at most of the Jurassic World movies, so far, there have been no kids announced in this cast. And that has always been the element of Jurassic Park that's either worked or doesn't work, is annoying little kids. And in the first one, people kind of liked the annoying little kids. In the second one, people hated the annoying little kid. You know, that to me it has always been like a weird sticking point of the franchise, is how much people is like how good the kid actor is in it. If there's no kid actor, this could be a really interesting, different Jurassic Park if it's like aimed at millennial adults who aren't kids anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of kids movies, we have another
Yes.
major sequel that just had a trailer drop in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Wow! Can you feel the excitement reverberating off
There are
of
people
my
who are
voice?
genuinely excited for
I know
this, as
that
it
there
turns out.
actually are. You know, I watched Sonic the Hedgehog and I thought better than it probably should have been. I'm not like sounding the alarm that this is the greatest comic or video game movie ever made. I didn't even watch the second one, and I don't plan to watch this third one. But I did watch the trailer just so I could talk about it on here, and it looks like it'll be a hit for kids. Looks like kids are gonna love the ever loving F out of it. So good job, Paramount.
Yeah, I really don't like these Sonic movies. They are so bad to me. But at the same time, I appreciate that there's lots of kids and adults that do genuinely enjoy them. The weird thing about them is how much Sonic is like he's a character in it, but like there's whole subplots with like the human characters that I'm like, who
James
cares about these
Marsden is
guys?
a huge piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. I
From
was
what I
like, who cares about
understand.
James Marsden and
Oklahoma's
his
own.
sister-in-law getting married? It's so. I will say, my son's reaction was very positive. My nephew's a big fan of these Sonic movies. The trailer started and my son goes, "Dad, it's Sonic!" He immediately recognized him. Big fan. He goes, "Ooh, his fur is blue," and I was like, "I'm aware of that, Jack. Thank you." And he told me he really likes his feet. He likes his red shoes. When Shadow came up, we haven't talked about that part, but Sonic is now going face to face with Shadow, his enemy from. I don't remember what the first game was that featured Shadow. Maybe somebody can look into that.
Yeah, it was Sonic Homeward Bound.
I would love it if you took the photo of Ugly Sonic and showed it to him and just like gauge your reaction. Just like, hey, bud, is this Sonic?
this?
And just see,
He'd be like,
who is this? And he'd be like, well, he's Sonic, but he's ugly.
Looks like an ugly
I'd be
Sonic.
curious to know what a little
He was
boy's
really
reaction
interested.
is.
He goes, "Dad, who's that?" When he saw Shadow, he goes, "Dad, who's that?" And I go, "I don't know." And they go,
That's Idris
and
Elba.
they say his name is Shadow, and Jack goes, "Shadow." Like he whispered it to himself, like, "Oh my gosh, this is the most insane reveal that's ever happened for him." There's
That's
an
how
evil
trailers are
Sonic.
for kids, I think, for some time.
They
you know?
are.
That's
So
it's
he
the joy
was-
of being a kid
Jim Carrey did something silly in the trailer. He goes, "Why is he doing that?" I was like,
because he's a silly bad guy.
he's a silly guy. Anyway, so
I do appreciate that Jim Carrey has a place to go be silly. I'm glad he's doing that
agree with
again.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's pretty much retired except for these Sonic
Seems
movies
to
at this
be.
point.
He doesn't do much, but he goes wild with those Sonic movies.
Well, that's it though, Jack. So under 7 crowd really feeling it.
Yeah. I think it'll be big. I think kids will love it, and that's great. There should be movies for kids that adults don't enjoy. That's what are you talking about? Of course that's normal. Not everything
Yes.
has to be, a movie like Soul that will make a parent weep and then a child laugh. Like, in fact, I'd love it if I didn't weep at every children's movie. It's too common. I'd never cry at Sonic. I
I
guarantee
know.
it.
In our day, we had Most Valuable Primate and Airbud and things like that. So
Tell me
Winston
Airbud don't
checks
make you
in.
cry, you liar.
Well, I you know what? I don't remember Airbud.
he's
very
whacking
well.
that newspaper.
You could submit Airbud to our Sports September fan pick contest, and we'll see if it makes it in the final voting. Go do that. Don't forget. All right, let's start to get towards the end here. David, hit us with a box office recap of this most recent weekend here. What's
Okay.
cooking? What's hot and what's not?
For I think the 5th straight week, Deadpool and Wolverine is the #1 movie. Actually, not straight week, because I think it did get knocked down for one weekend
I
there.
think
But
you're right.
Deadpool and Wolverine is back at #1 with 15.1 million. These are just the 3-day totals. I do not have Labor Day weekend numbers, including the Monday just yet. But yeah, so Deadpool and Wolverine up at #1. Alien Romulus still at #2. It Ends With Us remains at #3. So your top 3 unchanged from last week. The debuting Reagan starring Dennis Quaid is #4 with 7.4 million in its 3-day. And Twisters is back up at #5 for the Labor Day weekend with 7.1 million. Elsewhere on the box office, Afraid debuted at #9. That's that Afraid AI kind of horror.
Afraid is how I say it.
Afraid is at number 3.7. Did either of you guys get a chance to see that? I didn't think so.
I might. It's not. It doesn't look Megan good. Mithrigan.
No, not yet. There were some other re-releases in theaters this weekend. Not a lot of like theaters, but like Shaun of the Dead re-released this weekend, as well as let's see here. Coraline still rolling in theaters. They're keeping that in. Like they're not gonna take that out at any time soon. I don't think. Anyway, that's your box office for this weekend, and I'll kick it over to you guys.
Sweet. Well, we're just going to wrap up here, recapping our upcoming themes for the rest of the year here. Let you guys know we got some fun stuff coming up. Obviously, Sports September is here. We'll be doing that for the rest of the month. Then we will kick into one of our favorite times of the year, So Many Scares, where we're going to do horror movies all month long, all spooky season leading up to Halloween. Then we're going to do a really fun one. This is... I'm going to say it this way, even though it doesn't make sense. It's the 25th anniversary of 1999. Did you know that?
Yes,
It's been 25
it's been
years since
25 years.
1999 happened. And that is generally looked back upon as one of the greatest years in movies of the past century, especially, or the last half of the century, because movies haven't been around that long. But so we're gonna pick some picks from 1999. There's a ton of great movies in there. Some we've already done, like The Matrix. There's a lot. So we're gonna be doing that, and we'll also have a fan vote there, I'm sure. So again, our socials at So Many Sequels Pod on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok. Go check those out. Then we'll be wrapping up the year with So Many Santas, Christmas movie marathons all month long. It's going to be fun as always. And that'll do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe there or on your favorite podcasting app, whichever is best for you. We're trying to get to a goal of 316 YouTube subscribers, so go do that. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, turn on the notifications so you know when new episodes drop. Typically, we do that twice a week with a news update and a review episode. If you want to get more involved, you can join our Patreon. Patreon.com/so-many-sequels. You join us there, you get access to our Discord, where you can talk about movies, TV shows, and any other fun items there. That'll do it. Don't forget to follow us online again. I won't repeat them, but go check that out. We'd love to hear what you think of the show and what movies you would like to see us do next. We'll see you next time.